So today I'm talking about a Chevy or GMC that has a service battery charging system displayed on the dashboard, some of the causes and how you go about fixing it. And so what are some possible causes for this? Well, it could be a bad alternator, it could be a bad battery, the battery terminals could be corroded. There's a battery current sensor that's located in many Chevys that often causes problems, and it could be a blown fuse. And so the first thing to do is to find out if the battery's bad or if the charging system's having an issue. And there's a quick, easy way you can do this. If you have a multimeter, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could be like a $10, $20 multimeter. And basically you just want it to read DC voltage, and you just test the battery without the car running. And as long as you're getting above 12 volts, then the battery's usually good. If you're getting below that, if you're getting like 11 volts or something like that, then you're gonna have to use a battery charger, charge it for like at least half an hour, and then test the battery again and see if it holds a charge. Because you want to make sure that the battery's holding a charge, otherwise the battery will need to be replaced. If you don't have a battery charger, you can take the battery to an automotive store and they'll charge it up and test it for free to see if it's any good. And also check these connections. Be sure there's no corrosion going on here, because any bad corrosion on these battery terminals can cause problems since the charging system can't charge the battery. So always check your battery terminals. And so if the battery tests good and there's no issues there, then what you do is you start the vehicle up and the alternator should start putting out voltage. And so you should see a rise in the voltage amount. Now, how much voltage the alternator outputs is going to vary depending on the year and the Chevy model, but it should be like around 13.5 to like 14.5 volts, something along those lines. It should go up. It shouldn't be extremely high. Like if it's over like 16 volts or something like that, then that's overcharging. But 13.5 to 14.5 volts, that's pretty common. And so if you see that, then you know the alternator is putting out voltage. If you don't see the rise in voltage, then you know there's something going on with the alternator or something along these lines. Now, a common problem with many Chevys is there's a battery current temperature sensor. And so quite often you'll go and check out the battery and it'll test good. You'll check out the charging system and it tests good, but it's still sending that Chevy service battery charging system on the dashboard, even though you can't find any problems. And so if that happens, there's a common problem with that, and it's called the battery current sensor. It's just a small little component next to the battery that monitors the current and sends information back to the onboard computer what's going on. And this is a common failure inside of Chevys, and this is where the onboard computer is getting its information what's going on in the charging system. So if this fails, there might not be any problem going on, but the onboard computer thinks there is since the sensor failed. I'll show you what it looks like here on Amazon. It's just called a battery current sensor, and it's not extremely expensive or anything, but I'll put links down below for everything I'm looking at here. And so if you're testing the voltage and it's not putting out 13.5 volts or it's not going up, then very likely there is a problem going on with the alternator and or a fuse is blowing. Well, a fuse doesn't usually blow. It is something to keep in mind. There's a fuse box inside the engine compartment, and there can be other fuses elsewhere. You'll have to get a diagram to find all the fuses for your particular Chevy, since there can be differences. This is a fuse box for a Chevy Cruze, and this fuse number 69 is for the battery current sensor, and if that blows, that causes issues sometimes. So it's something to keep in mind that there can be a blown fuse. But if you're not getting the voltage out there, then the next thing to do is to go test out the alternator. Now, there's different ways you could do this, and one of the easiest methods a lot of times is if you could remove the alternator and take it to an auto parts store. They'll test it for free, and then if it's bad, you could just go and get a replacement. One thing to do is be sure to check out this belt that goes around is good, because if it's slipping or if it's not tight or going bad, then it might not be spinning the alternator, and so it might not be working. But the next thing to do is to go check out this alternator and have it tested. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to give a real quick overview of how you go about fixing a Chevy with the service battery charging system message on the dashboard. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.